What is going on, my friends? Welcome to this episode of the Formula Podcast and part 3 of our Lindy Hop series. I'm your host, Trevor Carlson, and I'm excited to share with you my experiences, experiments, and conversations around designing a fulfilling life in whatever form that means for you. On part 3 of the life lessons from Lindy Hop, I am bringing an interview, or a conversation, really, with Jazzy Feet founder, Amélie Barrande. I'm really pumped to share this interview with you. I had the opportunity of meeting Amélie in Bucharest at the Bienvember Swing Fever Festival, and this was one of the most fun events I've ever been to. I've made friends at this event that I've danced with all over the world since then, and the hospitality of the hosts, the Boozy Cats, and the organizers from Romania was just unbelievable. So not only is Amélie an amazing instructor, she also runs her own business, Swivells, a company that makes dance shoes for women around the world. In this episode, we're going to discuss Lindy Hop, of course, what you can learn from dancing, her experiences dancing all over the world, and what she's learned from growing her business. Now, let's hear a quick word from our sponsors, then let's hop right along to the episode. The first sponsor for this episode is Lady Boss. Lady Boss is a women's fitness and health company that really tries to provide as many resources as possible to help women live the healthiest lives possible. So if you want to check out some of their free resources, you can head on over to theformulapodcast.com's sponsored products page and click the link there to head to their website and see what types of different free guides and workout plans, stuff like that they have available for you. Now, our second sponsor for this episode is Liquid Web. If you've listened to any of our episodes about launching your own e-commerce company or an online business, they have these like pre-made solutions for you that you can just go on over and sign up for. Now, if you check the show notes, they provided Formula Podcast listeners with a little bit of a coupon code, so you can just check out the show notes. I believe it's Formula 33. You get 33% off all Liquid Web products. So, big shout out to them for hooking us up. Now, let's get on with the show. I appreciate you taking the time to sit down and chat with me. Now, you and I met when you were teaching a Lindy Hop workshop over in Bucharest, Romania, back in November of 2018, I believe.
Yes.
And that was my first actually Lindy Hop, not festival, but what's the right term? What word am I looking for?
Workshop?
Yeah, that was my first weekend long workshop that I had done. So it was really, really exciting to have you guys come in and teach, and I had a wonderful time there and learned quite a bit. So I'm really curious as to how you got into Lindy Hop and dancing in general, because clearly you have quite a bit of experience, especially being able to travel around the world and teach as you do.
So how did I discover Lindy Hop, you mean?
Yeah, just how did you get started personally? I mean, was it something that you've always done, or is it something that something happened and you're like, okay, I'm going to do this?
No, it's not actually. I've always loved dancing, and I've danced a little salsa and things like that. And a few years ago, I guess it was probably 7 years ago, I went to a piano festival, and there were people dancing Lindy Hop. And it was like love at first sight. You see this and you're like, oh my God, I want to do the same. And that's actually how I discovered Lindy Hop.
Yeah, how long have you been dancing Lindy Hop for?
Well, this was 7 years ago, and this was about the time when I moved to Paris. So right away I wanted to dance in Paris. It's always difficult when you are like a woman in Paris and you want to take classes. You absolutely need to find a partners. So the first few years I was just going to parties, swing dance and practice and things like that. And actually this is how I learned to dance first, without classes, but just practicing a lot.
Yeah, so you would just kind of show up at parties around Paris where there was swing dancing going on and just kind of practice with people who were already doing it.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's cool. So how did you go from, going to the Lindy Hop parties or the swing dance parties to, kind of where you are today, where you travel around and you teach. Plus, you also have your own line of dance shoes as well.
It's a very slow process, actually. I've been dancing more and more, and the more I was dancing, the more I wanted to travel because when you meet people from other countries who dance, it's amazing because some people they come from very far away. They don't have the same culture, they don't have the same language, but when you dance with them, it's like you've been friends forever. So I loved doing this, and I was traveling more and more. I guess I entered a few competitions, and some of them I won. And what's great is that when you win a competition, then there's always someone from a different country who wants to invite you in his country to teach. So yeah, this is a very, I don't know, natural, slow process.
Yeah. So you went from parties to classes to competitions and then traveling a bit, and then what really, I guess you kind of said it a bit, you would win these competitions and they just started inviting you to come to their festival or festivals, workshops, exchanges, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, it's very thrilling because competitions are very scaring for me. I was not a big fan at first, but it's amazing all the doors that it opens for you. And like when we met in Bucharest, this was an amazing adventure. I don't even know if I would have been to Bucharest in my life if it wasn't for teaching this event. I love this city. Now I think I'm going to go back every year.
Yeah, I actually had the same experience. I mean, the reason I went there is because I saw that there was the Lindy Hop Festival and or workshops, and I ended up staying a few weeks because I enjoyed it there. I was actually really surprised at the hospitality of the people in Romania, and then the city itself was just really quite nice. There's like a lot of different things to do. I don't know. It was just it was very surprising.
Yeah, I know. I had the same feeling. Like the vibe is very warm and friendly.
Do you have a favorite place that you've gone to teach?
Actually, I'm pretty sure this is the one. I've also teaching in Greece. I love the people over there, and I love Athens. I think it's a very like dynamic city, with very dynamic people. They are all super creative. So I loved Athens as well. But I think yeah, in Bucharest there was something special, and I think this was one of the most powerful thing of my life.
Oh, that's awesome. So it went from, going to a city that you had never really expected to go to then making some really close friends that then came and visited you in Paris. It's funny how that kind of works with the swing dancing scene, because I've made friends and then seen them like dance with them in different countries. There was a couple I met, actually, the couple from Germany that I met at your workshop. I actually danced with them again in Bangkok at I'm trying to remember the name of the place there. It's like it doesn't matter, but it's called the Hop, I think.
Yeah, yeah, very popular place to dance.
It's funny how just going and meeting people at a dance event can turn into dancing in multiple countries with them. I actually think they're in like Bethlehem, Israel right now or they're going to be for some workshop there. It's just interesting how that community seems to work and travel well too.
Exactly, yeah. You can go to any country to dance, and you know that you're going to meet friends there. It's super nice. You've been mentioning Asia, and just a few months ago, we were in Vietnam with my partner for the Vietnam Lindy Exchange, and it was crazy there because you are at the other side of the world, and not only do you meet people that you know, but as you mentioned, I created a shoe brand, for dancers, and I saw many people wearing my dancing shoes, like in Vietnam. So it's like the Lindy Hop word. It's like a very very small word.
So you kind of talked about how you became a teacher, but how you won these competitions and you had some opportunities to go teach. But how did that lead into you starting your own like dancing shoe brand?
I guess that was 4 years ago, maybe 3 years ago. I guess that was 4 years ago, maybe 3 years ago. I was working in cinema during the day in a production company. And by night, I was teaching like maybe 4 hours every night. So I was always on my feet, and I started having a lot of problems with my feet. I had something bad, so I could barely walk. And I have an amazing podiatrist. I don't know if I pronounce the word nice. It's podiatrist, right? And she's also a dancer, and she talked to me about what kind of shoes you're supposed to wear, what is comfortable and what is not really comfortable. Just like that, I kind of realized that if I wanted to have shoes that were both super comfortable and super stylish, I had to make them myself. So that's how I created the brand.
And how long have you been doing that for?
I've been selling for a year, and I guess it took me a year and a half to like find the factory and create the prototypes.
Did everything go pretty smoothly in that process, or was it something where, it was kind of also another learning experience for you?
Oh my God, that is a learning experience. That is very complicated. I was never really an entrepreneur, Like I had a very good work, and I guess I could have kept that work also. It was a crazy experience for me to start this shoe brand, and it was not smooth at all because I had to learn everything like on the job. It's also very complicated when you are a woman in this kind of in the fashion world. Actually, weirdly, it's hard to be a woman. So yeah, it took me to try to understand the logic and like how everything works. But now it's actually much better right now. I understand everything, I guess.
It's just more a process of getting the word out and getting everyone to find out. And what's the name of the brand of shoes?
The name is Swivells. Swivells, it's actually a Lindy Hop step. It's a variation that you can decide to do if you want. And it's super nice. It engages your hips and your feet. And usually people love to do it. Yeah, that's why I wanted to call it Swivells.
It seems to make sense. It's kind of a play on something, on the Lindy Hop dance floor. And it sounds like you've had a lot of success with women dancers around the world.
Yeah, it's very, I don't know how to say this, but like word of mouth. Is it the correct expression?
Mm-hmm. Yep, that's correct.
Word of mouth was very, very effective. I've started wearing my models to teach in my school in Paris. So a few of my students bought the models, and they've been wearing them outside, like in Europe, when they go to events and workshops. And just like that, it spread. Now, when I travel the world, I can actually meet a lot of people wearing my shoes. I don't know, I feel very proud of this.
I think that's a pretty good accomplishment when you start out just making something for yourself, and then as you travel around, I mean, even going over to as far as Vietnam and seeing or meeting people wearing your shoes, that's got to be a very cool experience.
Yes, it is. It is. Honestly, when I went to Vietnam and I saw that people were wearing my shoes, I was like completely crazy. Even though some of them had actually made copies, it did not even matter. It was my shoes, my design and stuff. I was super, super happy about it.
Now you travel and you teach with your partner as well, and that has to be just amazing and interesting experience on your own. So what has that experience been like? Because I feel like there's probably two different camps of people. There's probably some people who are thinking you're crazy for working with your significant other, and then there's others that are like, well, if you can't work with them, then why would you be a partner with them in the first place?
I think there is no real rule about this. I think that it's different for everyone. It's different for every couple. I was a bit concerned about this at first. I was a bit scared, but actually it worked like very, very well. we know what we can do together. We know also the things that we don't like to do together. Yeah, and he's a very pragmatic guy. He's made actually, he's an entrepreneur at first. So he's very used of working with associates. So it was very useful because he also is someone when you know that person personally and you also work with him. No, it's honestly it's going very well. I've been talking with a friend of mine. He's a musician. His significant other is also his manager. The combo is not working at all.
Oh no.
And yeah, no, but they are a very good couple. They love each other. They are perfect on so many levels. But just working together, just it doesn't work. So they're going to stop. And I guess I'm very lucky that it's working very well right now.
Yeah, Christophe seemed like I mean, you guys definitely seemed to teach well together when I was at your workshop in Bucharest. It was, I mean, clearly you guys had a lot of experience teaching together. So I personally felt like I was completely in over my head the entire time. I was like, man, I am I am completely out of my comfort zone. I think that's all kind of part of, getting better at something. Because I've only been doing Lindy Hop for a little over a year now. I'm not exactly sure. I don't know the exact start date, but
Well, you are very good.
I'm good for a year. I don't
You are?
I don't know. Maybe I'm very hard on myself, but I'm like, man, I just feel so a lot of times I feel like I am one step behind of the average the people that I'm around.
I think that if you are conscious or like if you are aware of your difficulties, then you are probably going to be better than all of the people who are not aware of those difficulties. Most of the people they assume that they are good dancers, so they don't really listen to what the teachers has to say. They don't really care because they guess that they have it like inside or something. And when you are aware, that's how you get really better.
Are there other common, I don't know if I want to use the word mistakes or maybe challenges that new dancers face that you see quite often when you're teaching these workshops?
I guess the most common mistake that I see is people who think that they are dancing alone. You know, this is a dance that you are supposed to dance with a partner, and you're not supposed just to lead or just to follow the dance. You have to really connect with the person you are dancing with and be aware of this person and his connection and the way that he moves. Yeah, and I think like now a lot of people are watching themselves dancing. Is it the correct way of saying this?
Yeah,
Like, yeah.
yeah, they're kind of just they're just there for themselves. They're not really paying attention to their partner. Is that what you're?
Is it the correct way of saying this?
Yeah,
Like, yeah.
yeah, they're kind of just they're just there for themselves. They're not really paying attention to their partner. Is that what you're trying to say?
Exactly, exactly. Yeah, and that thing, I think that this is the biggest problem today.
When you think about today's culture where everyone wants like the perfect photo of them doing whatever it is that they're doing, it kind of makes sense. How do you work with someone to realize that they're dancing? It's not a solo show, it's a partner dance, and there has to be some type of connection with the partner. How do you work with them to kind of understand that and maybe improve on that connection with their dance partner?
The best thing that we can do is say it and say it a lot. But some people will never listen to it. Actually, the people we have the most effect on are the people that we have every week, like for a year. If we have someone every week for a year, we know that we can make that person change a lot in his dancing. But if we have someone just in a workshop, it's really difficult. You can explain to that person how you think dance should be, and but sometimes those people don't really listen. They don't really care because, as you say, today people want to. They are looking at themselves. They want to be beautiful. They want to dance good, and they don't really matter about the partner they are dancing with.
And that's really sad too, because just in my experience, when you hit that point with someone that you've I mean, on the first dance, it's for me at least. I don't know if it's the same for everyone. It's really difficult for me to necessarily have that like a ton of chemistry or rapport with that person, and it's usually after dancing with them a few times that I don't know, really starts.
Yeah, yeah, that's true. That's true.
It's too bad that people have that challenge because it's you almost build a level of trust with your dance partner, right?
Yeah, totally. Yeah, absolutely. And it's funny because sometimes you have dance partners with needs to work on this, as you're saying, and sometimes it's like love at first sight. You just do one step and you connect with that person right away. And this is what is absolutely magic in Lindy Hop dancing. I really really love this sensation.
As far as Lindy Hop and dancing goes, what effects do you think that practicing Lindy Hop for the last 7 years and becoming a teacher have had on your life?
Oh, I think that I don't know if I can say this well in English, but it really helped me like open my horizon. I guess I was not traveling a lot before. I was a bit in a bubble, and now that I'm traveling a lot and that I'm meeting maybe 100 people every weekend, and that I've learned how to love those 100 people, it made me more open to other people and more generous. I really, really want to travel more, and I want to meet more people. And yeah, I guess now I really love people, and I'm sure that dancing is the reason for this.
I couldn't agree more on the, just getting out and meeting tons of different people. I guess I'm a part of a few other communities, and I don't really see, I don't really see the same effects that, being a dancer, being part of like the swing dancing and Lindy Hop community has. Because I feel like it attracts a special type of person that really likes being around other people.
I don't think that you can like dancing if you don't like people.
Right.
It's not. Yeah, I don't think it can work. Yeah, I've met a lot of absolutely amazing people in my life. Most of them was thanks to dancing. There's something when you dance with someone. Some people say like it's like having sex with someone, or it's like sharing something very deep and personal with one person for like 3 minutes. And I really feel it. It's an amazing connection that you can find in dancing. Mm.
Yeah.
And I don't think I find it in any other dances actually.
Other than swing dancing and Lindy Hop.
Yeah, I've been dancing. I don't know, maybe it was not the same level, but I've been dancing salsa. I've been dancing like rock and roll and things like that. And I never found the same passion.
I did salsa as well for about 2 years, and I mean I enjoyed it. It was fun, but it's I guess it's kind of hard for me to judge as well because I feel like that my experience in salsa probably led over to maybe I enjoy it a ton though. I don't really do a ton of salsa anymore because I'm always looking for swing events. I mean even here in Croatia I've been Googling. I'm like there has to be some swing dance parties or classes or something going on somewhere. So it's I guess if I went back and practiced it again, maybe I would have the same experience because I'm more of a experienced dancer, and not just from the steps perspective, but I'm speaking from my own personal experience, but getting more comfortable with myself on the dance floor, like realizing that sometimes I probably look ridiculous or I'm going to miss a few steps here and there. So I feel like that plays a big role too. So maybe yeah, I don't know. It's hard to say whether, the comfort level comes first or if it's like the style of dance.
I don't know. I don't know how to answer that.
No, it's no answer necessary. Just more of I don't think I have the answer either. I imagine you work with a lot of beginner and intermediate dancers, and any specific type of advice that you give these people as they're practicing and working on improving their dance skills.
Well, it depends on the level. If we are talking about beginners, the biggest advice is dance. If you just want to go to a class once a week but you don't practice, it's okay, you are allowed to do that, but you are definitely not going to improve. You're not going to get better. If what you want is get better and have more fun, then you have to dance a lot. You really have to practice. You have to listen to the music because swing music is very it's made a certain way and you have to understand the way that it works. So yeah, practice, practice, practice. And as for intermediates, I guess intermediates the most important to be open to new style, because sometimes intermediate they find someone that they like a teacher, and they are going to copy that person. And what you want to find in Lindy Hop is your own style. And to do so, I think that you have to try many teachers. You have to go to different events. You have to travel if you can afford it, because of course it's super expensive. Or you can watch videos on YouTube, but just look everywhere to try to get something of your own. This is probably my biggest advice.
I think the getting out and actually doing it is a big part of it, because it can be a little intimidating when you first get started to.
Super intimidating. Yeah, it's super scaring. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, all the students they say the same thing. They say, "Okay, I can go to like a party, but I don't want because I'm so afraid that someone might say no, or that they might get bored or something." But you should always go dance and invite a lot of people. No one can honestly be bored in dancing. That's not possible, even if you're a beginner. You always have something to practice.
That's a good point. Oh man, I can think of earlier on in when I first started dancing, especially when, I mean, a lot of these things I go to alone, especially in different countries where a lot of the times I've been one of the only Americans, or like I was one of the only ones with English as my first language. So it can be, I mean, that kind of ups the difficulty for me when when I'm trying to invite people to join me on the dance floor. I don't think it's ever easy, but the more you do it and the more you just kind of put yourself out there, I think it really helps. Plus, I mean, if anybody's listening to this and considering going to even just like there's a lot of places that have like free. They'll do like a Lindy Hop night at a local like jazz bar or something. They usually have like an hour of lessons ahead of time, like free lessons that are open to the public, and you can just show up and you can actually meet most of the people who you'll probably be dancing with the whole night, and it makes it a lot easier to go ask someone to dance if you've already practiced with them.
Yeah, we actually do that. We with my school we organize parties in Paris, and this is actually how we do it. Yes, we have an hour of a free lesson at first, mostly for beginners. That way they can all meet, and then we start dancing, and they are all already all friends. So it's super nice.
Yeah, it takes a lot of the edge off for people who maybe have a little anxiety.
Yeah, to dancing. You ask everyone to dance with everyone. That way they can actually meet. And then you start the party.
I mean, the parties are a lot less fun when no one's dancing with each other. But when everybody's out on the dance floor, then it's just. I was doing an interview with one of the two people that I took my first Lindy Hop class with in the Czech Republic. They actually just went and did a workshop in Bucharest as well. And I was talking with her and sharing my experience. You know, you go out for a night of dancing, kind of socialize, you meet a lot of new people. I just always have this feeling the next morning, like the morning after. I usually just wake up with a smile on my face, or an extra pep in my step, or however you want to say it, just because it's like I feel like it brings out this level of like human interaction and just fun. And I mean, you're dancing, you're sweating, being involved is really important to it being a fun evening.
Yeah, this is a dance that is really full of joy. I guess that's what makes it kind of different from like tango or other dances. It was created during the segregation when African American were not allowed to go to the white people parties, so they had to create their own parties. They created a place called the Savoy Ballroom, and they would have a lot of balls over there. They were just full of joy, and they invited everyone. It was not just African American, but also white people. Like everybody could go dance together, and I think that this joy is still present in the dance today. Like it's still here. You can still feel it when you dance. All the moves are. I think that this joy is still present in the dance today. Like it's still here. You can still feel it when you dance. All the moves are big and bouncy and full of rhythm, dynamism, dynamic. I don't know how to say it.
Yeah, dynamism, something like
Oh
that.
yes, thank you. That's what I'm trying to say. Anyway, yeah, you can still feel it today, and that's what makes this dance so special.
It definitely is a dance of joy, like you said. I don't know, it's hard to do it and just have a frown on your face the entire time, you know?
Yeah, I don't think you can do it.
Yeah, I feel pretty ridiculous. So to all those people out there that are listening to this and they're thinking, this actually sounds like something I want to try or do. If you had to give them 3 pieces of advice or encouragement to get out there and start dancing and start learning,
I have to find three.
if you can, I mean, if you want to do 2, that's fine. But I figured 3 was a good number.
Can I say do it, do it, do it?
Yes, that's one.
So the first advice would be find a place and a community to dance. And this is actually quite easy now. You just have to go on Facebook and you type the name of your city and you add swing or you add Lindy Hop. They are dancing. There is dancing now everywhere in the world, even in Bali. Like if you want to dance in Bali, you can actually find a swing dance community there. The second thing would be listen to the music because swing music is very, very important. It's a big part of the dancing. And if you don't like the music, then you're not going to like the dancing. So, yeah, listen a lot of the swing music. And the third thing would be never be afraid of your flaws and mistakes. It's actually okay. We've all been bad dancers at first. It's not a problem. It's not a competition. We all bad dancers, and then you have to improve. Yeah, never be sorry for being a beginner.
I think that's really good advice, and that's the last one is something I probably could be better at because when I'm dancing with someone and I realize that I've made a mistake or I completely broke the rhythm, I'm always like, my bad, oops, and then they're like, no, it's fine. I'm like,
It's never a problem.
Sometimes you get into this like flow state where you're in rhythm, everything is going fine. And other times, at least since I feel like I'm still a beginner, you hit this moment where nothing seems to fall into place and you're taking the wrong steps at the wrong moment, or you run into your partner and you're just like, oh man, can I take a break? Can I take a time out?
Some musics are more difficult than others. Sometimes you can go with the flow and you understand how the music works. And sometimes I don't know, like you're offbeat or something and you can't really understand the music or yeah, it's natural. It's the same for everybody.
That's an important lesson too, I think, is just remembering that everybody's had to go through the same thing at some point in time.
Yeah, exactly.
We've talked about your beginnings with swing dance, your teaching, your shoes. I guess I have two final questions, and then we'll wrap this up. What's next for you? I mean, you're traveling all over the world teaching. You've got a successful line of shoes. What are you going to do next?
I think I'm still going to enjoy this for a while. This summer I'm going to teach to Estonia and then I'm going to teach to in Italy. So I really enjoy it. I know that it's not going to last because my body is not going to follow me all my life. So I want to enjoy this as much as I can. And as far as the shoes are concerned, it's amazing for me to see how well it's working, and I really want to take this to the next level now. I have a lot of dancers wearing my shoes, and now I really want to expand to non-dancers. I'm working on new models right now, models for the summer, things like that. Male models, actually, because now it's almost only women's shoes. I think I have a lot of projects. Then I want to create, I think, other things, but I can't tell you anything right now.
It sounds like you have quite a few projects coming up and a lot of exciting travel. I imagine that keeps you pretty busy though with all of that on your plate. How do you actually find any time for downtime or somewhat normal life?
I think I don't have a normal life. Right now, my life is just about working. I know that this is just a moment of my life, and someday it's going to be easier and I'm going to have more time for myself. But I really do not complain because I love what I do. I'm super happy to work all the time. Yeah, this is really not a problem for me, actually.
Yeah, so it sounds like you're doing what you love, so it's not really like there. I mean, it is your life.
Yeah, I guess this is, yeah, I could almost say that this is how I relax, I work and this is super fun.
Yeah, that's awesome. I think that's what everyone hopes to strive for. So congratulations on building a life that allows you to do that. Okay, so I lied. I have one other question now, and that's, since you've been able to design this life, whether intentionally or unintentionally, as I said, a lot of people would love to be in your shoes, metaphorically. But how would you recommend somebody? Maybe it's dancing, maybe it's writing, maybe it's painting. How would you recommend somebody kind of follow in the same type of footsteps that you've done in designing your life? I guess what I'm looking for is, was this something that you did intentionally, or is it something where you said, I really like this, I enjoy this, I'm just going to go with this feeling and see where it takes me?
I guess I've always kind of wanted to do it, but I was always afraid of all of the downsides because there are a lot of downsides. Like, I basically have no money, I have no security. As I was saying, I work all the time. I think you have to get to the point where you actually accept that, where you say, okay, this is how it works. This is going to be super difficult. This is going to be a lot of hustle and very hard work, and I'm not going to get. This is how it works. This is going to be super difficult. This is going to be a lot of hustle and very hard work, and I'm not going to get super rich right away because this is absolutely not how it works. You've actually made peace with this. You can go for it finally, and there is nothing stopping you. Yeah, I guess that's the only advice that I can think of right now.
If I can summarize, it's really knowing what you want and accepting the challenges, whatever they may be, along the way.
The only thing that could stop you is if you are too aware of what people think and what people say, because your parents, your friends, your teachers, they might all tell you that this is crazy, that this is not serious, that you can do it. But if you decide that it's okay, that you are going to live with just a few money for a while and all the time, if you accept it, then it gets actually really easy.
Don't listen to what everyone else says. Accept your kind of that this is how it has to be for you to get to build the life that you want, and then just get to work.
Yeah, be aware of the difficulties and accept them.
Last question, and then we'll wrap this up. If anybody wants to, let's say they want to find your shoes or maybe attend one of your upcoming workshops, anything like that, how would they find more information?
So I guess for the shoes, the best way is to visit the website or the Instagram or the Facebook page or anything. The website is called Swivells.com. It's Swivells.com. Then you can also go check the Instagram. It's Swivells.shoes, and you can go see the Facebook page. And there's a lot of information on the internet right now. I think that basically Lindy Hop shoes or swing dance shoes on Google. You can find my shoes right away. And about the workshops, you just have to look for my name. It's Amélie Barrande. Our school is called Jazzy Feet. And yeah, we travel all around the world, and we will be really happy to travel again for you if you're interested.
I appreciate you taking the time to stop by and chat. So we'll wrap the show up here. And do you have any final words for the for anybody listening?
I don't think I have. No.
Okay. All right. Well, folks, that is a wrap for this week's show and our 3-part series on the life lessons learned from Lindy Hop. Really big shout out to Anastasia and Amélie for taking the time to sit down and chat with me. I've learned a lot from them on the dance floor now, as well from our conversations. So really appreciate them. Definitely look up the Jazzy Feet and see if they have any events going on that you can attend. Also, if you are one of the women listeners out there that is into swing dancing or Lindy Hop, check out Emily's shoes, Swivells. The link is down in the show notes, so go ahead and check those out. I've heard raving reviews from everyone that I've talked to. I don't wear women's shoes, so I can't tell you for sure, but everyone else that's worn them seems to really like them. This has just been an awesome experience chatting with those two and sharing my lessons. It's been a big life-changing thing for me, just doing the dance, different types of social dance, and getting to really put myself out there over and over again, learning to be humble quite a bit, humbled many times, I'm sure, in the future. If I can ask you a quick favor, if you could take maybe 3 to 5 minutes out of your day, head on over to whatever podcast app you're listening to, iTunes, Stitcher, whatever it is, and leave us a little review. It really helps people like you find us, and continues to help us grow our audience. So really appreciate that. If you found any value in this, go ahead and leave us a review, and I will be forever grateful. Anyways, that's a wrap for this week's show, and I look forward to you tuning in next week. I have some really good stuff next week I'm really pumped about. It's going to be about my experience in Bosnia. Pumped to drop that and see what you think. Have a great day. I will talk to you next time. And see what you think. Have a great day. I will talk to you next time. Next time.